along, Chris, we got an interesting ball game, and not too far away, up north, your way, the cocktail party in Jacksonville. We got Florida taking on Georgia. The line right now has Georgia as a 7.5 point favorite. The over under has the over under is at 50.5 in this ball game. So it, this is another game, Chris. I've been kind of thinking about mainly today before we started recording. Who's going to have the edge? We know at this point we know how Georgia has been playing this season. This isn't a scary Georgia team by any stretch of the imagination. They've squeaked by some games this season, quite a bit of games. Had that stinker of a game against Alabama where they really got exposed in that one, but for the most part, they've just been squeaking by barely in games, and at some point, the dam got to break. If I had to put a pulse to it, Chris, I don't think the dam will break just yet. I do think this Georgia team will be motivated enough to play Florida because I think they expect Florida to be motivated enough to play them. They don't have a head coach anymore, but hey, that might be a little sigh of relief for now, as they get ready for a head coaching search. Um, this team, I think this Florida team is going to be motivated to come out to try to win this ball game. Will they win? I don't think so. I think Georgia will kind of bold to be a little bit too much for the Gators in the end. Um, if I had to put a score behind it, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think Georgia runs away with this game, 38-28.
Okay.
It's gonna be a little closer, but I think they'll kind of run away with it and separate themselves in the fourth quarter to win this ball game. But it's just gonna be a little bit more of the same that I've been seeing from Georgia. So I'm interested to get your take in this game, Chris. I know you probably been hearing a lot of people in the Florida area talk about this game
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
days have progressed. So what
Yes,
are your
sir.
thoughts?
You know, being a Georgia fan, um, every time this game comes across the schedule, every year, every season, doesn't matter what kind of team Georgia has, doesn't matter what kind of team Florida has, I just get a weird feeling. Last season, everybody and their mama just knew Georgia was finna put the beats on Florida. And we were a DJ Lagway hammy away from that game being a classic. That was about to be a classic. Like Florida really had Georgia on the ropes before DJ left the game with an injury. Um, both teams kind of still have having similar problems to what they had last season. Of course, Florida head coach is fired now because of those same problems that they were having. Uh, Georgia is a good team, but this isn't your early 2020s dominant kind of Georgia ball team, ball club. Um, I think this is going to be a barn burner. I think Florida's going to come in ready to play some ball. I think we'll see some things offensively coming out of the bye week that we haven't seen all season from Florida. I think Florida will put an emphasis on the running game. I think Ball they're going to feed him the football. I think Florida will try to work the vertical play action game. And if that's the case, and if you can take advantage of a Georgia secondary that's had its lapses by setting up the pass, I think Florida can have some success on the outside, especially with the athletes and receivers they have. This can be a very interesting game. I'm going to side with Georgia, but I think it's gonna It's going to take everything out of Georgia to win this one. This won't be easy, and Georgia will come ready to play. I just think Florida, with just some minor improvements with this offensive play calling and the talent this team has on offense and defense, they're just a few cleanups away. Play a little more disciplined defensively, have some better play calling offensively. You tweak those things, this team can play with anybody when you look at its roster. And then you throw in the fact that it's a rivalry game too, Kory. I think Georgia's going to go tooth and nail with Florida. I think the Bulldogs win 31-30. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be rough. I think Georgia has to kick a game-winning field goal going at the buzzer to win this one. I think we're going to see Georgia have to handle some adversity again. And we do know with Gus Stockton, he can handle said adversity. So I think he'll be ready for the moment to drive his team down the field and get the game winner. But I think he will have his struggles. This Georgia team will have its struggles. I don't think Georgia will be able to run the football as well as a Kirby Smart coach team wants to. And I think Florida will have more success running the ball than Kirby Smart would like to see. And you put those things together, I think it makes for a very entertaining and a classic Florida-Georgia cocktail party.
We'll see it. We'll see it, Chris. Look, if Georgia goes out there and they struggle to run the football, it's funny because I was listening to Josh Pate talk about this, and he kind of hinted at, if Georgia goes out there struggling to run the football, it could get interesting. But if they succeed at doing it, it could still get interesting. Maybe not for Florida's sake. But yeah, in terms of that, Chris, I think this game is going to live by the running attack by both teams. In order for you to kind of set yourself up in position to be a successful offense in this game, is going to depend heavily on running the football. I think Florida has a little bit more of the upper hand in running the football than Georgia. We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Florida's rushing attack more than I like Georgia's rushing attack, and I think that's what's going to be the calling card in this game. So, look, you let Jaden Bowe run downfield on you. It's gonna be tough. It's definitely
he's been finding his stride the last few weeks too.
Yeah,
Florida's been feeding him.
Yes, they have. So yeah, I think if all else fails, Jaden Bowe has been a stud for Florida. If he can get some runs in, that can be very successful for Florida, I'd say everything else will open up for Florida in terms of their offense.
You'll then see Dallas Wilson be able to, be able to make some plays. And
yeah.
We know what kind of playmaker he is.
Right. So I'm definitely going to say that Florida has that to hang their hat on in this ball game. For Georgia, they've been trying to run the football, but they just really haven't been successful, mainly because their offensive line is putrid, Chris. Like, in Georgia standards, the offensive line has not been at the level of a Georgia offensive line we've seen in past seasons when they were clicking on all cylinders. They're not blocking very well. If you flip it on the defensive side of the football for Georgia, they're not even pressuring people very well. This team isn't really doing a lot of things that they hung their hat on and being successful very well this year. I don't know what's the issue this year. Maybe they just don't have like the right guys um, to run the personnel that they want to, but they're still, lucking out on getting some wins when they need to. And I think that's just, hey, it's
That's a
just Kirby
testament to
Smart.
Kirby.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's just Kirby Smart at the end of the day. He's gonna find ways to get these guys in position to squeeze out of games with a victory, even though they may not need to, or they might. We might think that they can't just by what we've seen this season. I should say so. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting Georgia Florida game because both teams have pretty much the similar issues that they had last season. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
And
yeah.
I think how the season has played out so far with the games Georgia has won, and just how even when Georgia is struggling, having a down year, how this team has performed the last this season and last season,
Mm-hmm.
it's a true testament to Kirby Smart. Like as a Georgia fan, I know how it can be. I mean, I love Mark Richt. That's my guy. I got a lot of love in my heart for Mark Richt. But the floor with Mark Richt and the floor with Kirby Smart, two different floors. Mark Richt he'll have a 75, 8-4 season in there. You know what I'm saying? He definitely had his fair share of some 7 and 5s. You're like, oh, Mark, like, come on, baby, like, what we doing? It seemed like with Kirby gonna find a way to get you a couple of them. You ain't got no business winning. You know what I'm saying? Like Kirby's just a floor raiser with how meticulous he is about this and just the kind of coach he is. And then you mess around and give Kirby the team, and he'll take you home. You give Mark Richt the team, and you sitting there like, man, we need a little more just a little more juice out the squeeze. Like it was still some meat on the bone, Mark. We got No Sean and Matthew Stafford and Muhammad Massaquoi. What's going on, baby? We supposed to be doing the damn thing. But hey, that's how it is sometimes. But yeah, I just want to give, and I love Mark, but I just want to give Kirby his flowers because this is clearly not the best Georgia team, but they're winning. And that's like you said, that's just coaching. Shout out to Kirby Smart.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a testament to how Kirby has constructed his teams each and every season to grind out in these games. And look, this could be we've been
This could
talking
be a
about
grinder.
this could be a grinder. We've talked about all of their deficiencies at Georgia. This could still be a grind out game that Kirby Smart finds a way to get the most out of his team to walk out of Jacksonville with the W in the end. So it's a testament, like you said, Chris, to um, how he prepares his team each and every week, and even when they're going through adversity. Yeah, I should say that. And when they're going through adversity, he finds a way to get these guys to dig deep in however way they can to win these games. Games that
He's even
sometimes they
killed,
should win.
man.
Yeah.
He's cool, calm, and collected. You don't see Kirby cutting up on the sidelines. He just stays unfazed.
Outside of that time when he said he was clapping instead of call a timeout.
See, that wasn't against the team. He was trying to finesse the refs. But when it comes to the team, he be keeping it cool.
I know. I see you, Kirby Smart. I see you. I see you.
Oh
you
man.
can't pull the wool over my eyes, okay?
You might get the SEC officials, but you can't get Kory.
Right. So yeah, man. But overall, I think this is going to be a fun game. Probably one of the more fun Florida Georgia games in quite some time.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. Anything else, Chris? You want to mention about this game before we move on to our next game?
I'm good.
All right.